Mission Christian Radio presents Gideon, the Doubtful Hero, written by Noel Speers. Episode 2, The Altar Tumbled.
The nation of Israel had begun to follow the false gods of other people, so neglecting their own God, the one true God. As a result, the nation fell into the hands of the Midianites, their much more powerful neighbours. By the way, I'm Purah, and I've been a servant in the house of Joash for some years. I watched as his family, unlike their neighbours, continued to follow the Lord God. Joash's son, Gideon, declared one day that he had met a messenger from God. He was told he would be the one to lead his people in freeing themselves from the oppressive Midianites. One evening, I happened to be in the kitchen when Gideon was in deep conversation with his parents. Gideon's mother, Deborah, still had some reservations about her son's experience.
Deborah, we must accept what Gideon is telling us. And if the Lord God of Israel or his messenger has visited us here, we must recognise this.
How do you mean, Joash? Recognise it?
I mean, accept what Gideon has told us, that the Lord God wants him to help Israel face the Midianites. Maybe he does. The very least we can do is build an altar and make a sacrifice to our God.
What will those who live round us think? Don't forget that most of them are now worshipping that horrible false god Baal.
Yes, indeed, Deborah. But surely the Lord God of Israel will be able to protect himself and his children.
What do you think, Gideon? You've been very quiet.
Mother, Father, I'm glad that you're beginning to understand how I feel. The very least we can do is build that altar. Come on, we need to get started.
And so, with the help of his father, Gideon built the new altar. He called it the Lord of Peace and used it for sacrifices to the Lord God of Israel. That very same night, Gideon lost any lingering doubts as to whether or not the Lord God really wanted him to undertake this task. He had a second visit from the Lord God as he walked in the garden.
Gideon.
Yes, Lord, I am listening.
Gideon, I am pleased you built the altar. I accept your sacrifice. But...
Is something still wrong?
Yes. Gideon, now you can't have two altars side by side.
Lord, what other altar?
Surely you know, Gideon, the other altar which belongs to your father, the altar to Baal.
But I cannot remove it. My father built that, and I can't just take it down.
The two altars cannot remain side by side. Gideon, you are asking the Lord God to protect the nation against the Midianites, and yet allow an altar to this false god to remain on your father's land? Your father put it up a long time ago. He is a good man who sincerely worships me now. But the Baal altar is such a common sight. He doesn't realize that I, the Lord God, will not accept my altar sharing space with one to Baal.
Yes, Lord, I should have realized the wrong that was being committed. I will do as you say.
Good. Remember, Gideon, what I said to you when we first met?
Yes. You told me... Yes, I do remember you said, I will be with you.
Yes, I will be with you, Gideon. You are not alone. Now you have a task to do.
I know. I will destroy the altar to Baal. I will go back into the farmhouse.
As Gideon left the garden, he reflected on the conversation with the Lord God and the work that he must do. It was quite a responsibility that the Lord God had given him to defeat the Midianites and remove the influence of their god Baal. Early next morning, he began this formidable task.
You'll understand, Purah. How can I ask the Lord God to deliver our nation from Baal if we allow this altar to that false god to remain standing?
I do understand, sir. Is this something that you can do by yourself?
Are you offering to help me with this work, Purah?
Yes, I'm willing to help, but...
Good. But do you see problems?
We can't undertake the work, not just you and I. The Baal altar is a big structure.
Yeah, I know. My father spent a great time building it. But it won't take us long to demolish.
Can I ask some of the other farm workers? I know some of them follow the Lord God and do not take part in any Baal worship.
That's a good idea, Pura. We'll meet tonight and bring whatever tools we may need. Oh, and bring some saws or axes to cut down that large pole that stands beside the altar. The Asherah pole.
It's to the goddess Asherah, but she's as false as Baal.
And the wood from it will be useful later. We meet as soon as it becomes dark.
As was arranged, Gideon and the servants met after dark. He was surprised that so many were eager to assist. In a few hours, the altar to the false god Baal was no longer to be seen. The Asherah pole was cut down and chopped up. Once that was done, he worshipped the Lord God with a 7-year-old bull prepared as a burnt offering. For the sacrificial fire to the Lord God of Israel, he used the wood from the Asherah pole to light it.
It was good to have that wood for the burnt offering.
Yes, but I expect some of our neighbours will not be pleased at you chopping down the Asherah pole.
I haven't told my father about what we are doing. Don't forget, it was he who built that altar to Baal. We shall see how he and everyone else react to Baal's altar being demolished when it becomes daylight.
I expect there'll be plenty who don't agree with what we've done.
That can't be helped, but it's the right thing to do.
Has all our work been completed for now, sir?
Yes, well done, Pura. You've been a big help. Yes, all is finished now, folks. Thank you for all your work. Now retire until the morning. I trust that you will rest well, and may the Lord God be praised.
True enough. When it did become daylight, what Gideon had anticipated occurred. The sun had hardly risen when all in the house of Joash were awakened by shouting and loud banging on the door.
Gideon, what's all that noise about at this early hour? Something must be seriously wrong.
Father, I think I know what it is, and I do know exactly what's wrong.
Well, tell me quickly, Gideon, before they break the door down.
It's about that altar to Baal that you built.
I thought it might be. What have you done with it, Gideon?
I've destroyed the altar and cut down the pole. Father, that altar was an offence to the Lord God of Israel. You should never have built it.
I know that now. You've lectured me often enough about it, Gideon.
Last night, after you retired for the evening, I took some of the servants out and we broke the altar down. And also we cut down that Asherah pole.
I thought you might do that sooner or later. But what do I do with these folk now?
We'll have to talk to them. The Lord will be on our side.
I hope so.
I can't deny what I've done. It was the Lord God who told me I should do it. But he did say that he would be with me.
Maybe, Gideon. But for now, you stay here. Don't come out. I'll go out and face these neighbours of ours.
No, Father. It is I who should go out.
No, Gideon. You remain here.
How long are we going to stand here? Just... I need it. We've been hanging the door for ages. Shocking.
It doesn't sound like he wants to come to the door.
Afraid of us. Why not? He needs to tell us what's going on. Something like, come on.
Listen to me. What is all this about? Is something wrong?
You know what the matter is, Joash. Don't try to fool us.
Why are you here? And so early in the morning?
We're here to speak to your son, Gideon.
Gideon, can I not sort out your problem, whatever it is?
You know exactly why we want him. We are going to kill him. He has broken down the altar of Baal.
You want to kill my son?
Yes, we should kill Gideon because he has done this. How dare he cut down the altar?
No. So what if he did? Might he not be doing the command of Baal? Just look at this and say to yourselves, does Baal really need you to plead his cause? Surely the great god Baal can fight his own battles.
What do you mean, Joash?
Look, if Baal really is a god, can he not protect himself when someone damages his altar? He could simply strike them dead, and he hasn't done that. Why does he need you to carry out his wishes?
Maybe he's got a point.
He might be right, I suppose.
Yeah, could be. Do you think Joash is telling the truth?
Why don't you leave it to Baal? Exactly. If he wants to punish anyone who damages his altar, can he not do it without any help from us?
Yeah. Joash, perhaps you speak the truth. We respect you and your family. Do the others agree?
Yes, he has a point.
What are you saying now?
Joash, we respect you. We have been perhaps a little hasty. Perhaps Baal, the all-powerful, will have his own way of dealing with this. We will leave now, and we're sorry to have disturbed you.
Soon the men of the town had gone, almost as quickly as they had arrived, and Gideon and his father stood alone. On the hillside to the altar to the false god Baal still lay in ruins, just as Gideon and the servants had left it during the night. But no one touched the altar of the Lord God.
And tell me that again, Joash. You say they all came just because Gideon broke down your altar to Baal?
Yes, dear, and they were really angry. They wanted to kill Gideon.
What?
Mother, don't worry about that.
But they might try again.
No, I don't think so.
Why do you say that, Gideon?
Because of what you said to them, Father. I think they have begun to think.
I didn't say anything special. I didn't even mention the new altar to the Lord God standing in its place.
And no one mentioned it either. Perhaps God has blinded them to it.
But Joash, what made them all go back home? You must have said something pretty powerful to make them walk off just like that.
Oh, I didn't say very much, dear. The words just came out.
Might it not have been the Lord God speaking to them through you?
That could be, Gideon. I felt strange, and I wouldn't usually speak to other people like that.
Father, there are times when the Lord God of Israel takes over. He uses us to speak out the words that he wants people to hear.
Do you think that's why they just walked away?
I wish I'd been out there to hear you, Joash.
Oh, no, dear. I'm glad you weren't. It could have become very nasty.
We should now wait to learn what the Lord God would have us do.
Well, we still have the problem of the Midianite raids. Now, Gideon, I thought that the Lord God had laid at your feet the task of ridding our nation of that problem.
Perhaps, but we'll not do much more today. The Lord God will show me how to resolve the Midianite problem.
That night, Gideon could think of nothing else but the Midianites. He knew what they were capable of. But then, Gideon remembered his visitor from God. Maybe it was God himself in human form. He had been left the assurance that he would not be alone, and that the Lord God would be with him in the coming fight. The Lord God said, "I will be with you, and you will strike down all the Midianites together." That night Gideon lay without sleep, mulling over the words, "I will be with you, I will be with you." Then, as the truth of that sank in, he relaxed, and sleep overtook him.
Gideon, wake up. It's almost daylight now. There's work to do.
Yes, Father, I know there's work to do, but not just here on the farm.
What do you mean?
The Lord God has work for me to face as well.
Oh, of course, you mean the Midianites. Now, Gideon, you can't do that all by yourself.
No, Father. Remember yesterday? The Lord God has said, "I will be with you." I'll not be doing it on my own.
In Gideon the Doubtful Hero, Gideon was played by Luke Sherwin and Pura by Mark Clanny. Other parts were played by members of the Commission Radio Drama Team. The play was produced at Commission Studios in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Episode 3 is entitled The Fleece Test.